Hey guys, DeathClock Dave here, and welcome to my third Convergence game log. In these game logs, I'm doing a general battle report for each Convergence game that I play in 2018, and also doing some reflections and lessons learned from each game to try and help me become a better player, and if it helps you guys as well, that is awesome. So this is round two in a tournament that we went to in Vancouver on February 25th after driving through a mega blizzard. The scenario for this round was Scenario 6, Recon 2, and I was very excited about this match. Not only was I playing against a friend of mine, Todd McNeil, who is an excellent Warmachine player, he's also an excellent Convergence player, and Todd was playing the mirror match of what I had. So I was playing my standard Convergence pairing, which is currently Axis and Destruction Initiative and Orion and Destruction Initiative. You can check out the lists in the description. I'm playing these same lists basically for the next while, just so I can get them down packed and know what all of my activations should be and that sort of thing, just to get practice. And Todd was playing Convergence of Cyriss, obviously, and he was playing Axis and Orion, also both in Destruction Initiative. So his lists were quite a bit different than mine, though, so it definitely added some variety to the match. So in his Axis list, he had an Inverter, some Conservators, which are the Armor 20 Shield Guard floaty jacks that have, I believe it's called Hand of Vengeance. So when a warrior model, so a Servitor, for example, dies within 5 inches of it, if they were killed by an enemy attack, then the Conservator gets +2 to melee attack and melee damage rolls. So it makes them beasts in melee. He had Corollary, Galvanizer, 2 tips, and then a bunch of Servitors and Mechanics. And then in his Orion list, it is the list that lots of people are talking about right now in Convergence. It's the Orion Electro type list. So it's got a Prime Conflux, 5 modulators, Corollary, an arc node, and then a bunch of servitors and the Optifex directive. So he also had ADR, so he had a couple of TEPs in his ADR for his Orion list, and I believe a couple more Conservators and an Inverter in his ADR for his Axis list. So excited about this matchup. I didn't have great thoughts for how this matchup was going to play out due to the fact that not only is Todd's a more experienced player than I am overall, he's definitely a more experienced Convergence player. He's won a fair number of events, but I knew at least I was going to learn lots from this game. So we rolled off, and Todd won the roll and decided to go first, which was bad for me. So with us both playing Destruction Initiative, we were each an extra 2 inches forward, which already put us fairly close together on the board, and that allowed Todd on his turn to cast Avenging Force, move Orion up. So Orion's on a hill way in the back. You can kind of see him in the picture. He's actually upside down, tacked to his base. So he's kind of got his butt up in the air there. So that's where you can see him. So on a hill really far away from my Orion, who is ends up sitting behind a wall. So Todd managed to trample all of his stuff forward, so he trampled forward and then repositioned 3 to be in a position in such a way that if I advanced at all, I was going to get shot. So all of his stuff was out of my shooting range, but if I even moved off my deployment line, essentially I was going to get shot. So that was bad news for me, so he was definitely going to get to the shooting alpha. So on my turn, I also cast Avenging Force. I moved Orion up behind the nice wall there to try to get some cover bonus there. Again, both of our Orions are pretty far away, so I knew that the feat was going to be a bit tricky, and I knew that all of his stuff was out of range right now. So it was just a matter of me moving my stuff up, trying to position my servitors in such a way where they could be good shield guards. Shield guarding is very tricky when it comes to fighting against modulators because they have that direct line electrical attack. So when they shoot you and hit you, it does a line of damage between the center of the 2 points from the attacker to the target. So you have to be careful with your placement because shield guarding to another servitor could potentially take out other servitors or still end up hitting your jack. So you have to be careful there. And So I just positioned my shield guards as best possible, moved my jacks up. I did put my floaty jacks on the right flank, one of them on a hill, one of them just clipping the wall to get that cover bonus, and my Cipher on the far left that was squaring off against the Conflux was in the forest, just to give me a tiny bit more of a defense boost. It doesn't always matter when it's when you're shooting or when you're defending against Rat 7, but it's worth at least trying to get that bonus. And I prepared to get shot on the following turn. So on Todd's turn, he moved forward, and Todd rolled like crazy. So Todd's dice, I've never seen more sixes rolled in one game by a single player than in any other game with both players combined. And Todd could attest to this as well. This isn't just me skewing and remembering it incorrectly. It was crazy. So Todd proceeded to move forward. He put his little was it the electrical servitor guy from the Conflux. He managed to get him in good positions near my stuff so that he was going to be getting that +2 to the damage, and he moved his modulators forward and took lots of shots at my my assimilators and did tons of damage. Took out lots of shield guards too with the elimination servitors. Another big thing that he did was he had cast a magic bullet a couple of times, and he managed to shoot in such a way that he could remove both of my arc nodes. So that was huge. So removing my 2 arc nodes makes my feat much more difficult because I have to move forward to dangerous places in order to get a forced induction out. So that was going to be definitely bad time. So that was poor placement on my part for my arc nodes. So he ended up doing a ton of damage to my jacks. This wasn't even his feat turn, so lots of damage there all across the board. So the attrition was already taking a heavy swing. I was expecting to get alpha because I had to go. I was going second, but this was pretty stinking bad. So. Moved over to my turn. I knew I was going to have to feat this turn to try to at least get some work done. It was going to be sad because I didn't have any arc nodes left, so there was no forced induction for me. So I just allocated out to my jacks to try to maximize the efficiency of the assimilators. Move forward. I believe he might have even taken out one of my... Yeah, he took out one of my assimilators on his feat turn as well and severely mangled the others. So move forward. And I dropped ground pounders in such a way to catch as much as I could between the jacks and trying to clear out shield guards and such, just trying to get as much work done as possible. Did some okay damage, nothing great. Todd actually handed me his dice that were rolling phenomenally for him, and I rolled 3 of them and rolled a total of 5 on 3 dice. So they definitely knew who their master was there. But yeah, just move forward. Did some shooting, made a big mistake on my part. I miscalculated where the inductions were going to, and I actually left a focus on my monitor, which was a stupid mistake. That mistake is effectively the same as giving Todd a free forced induction without him having to spend any focus. So I did get a magic bullet off and took out his single arc node, which prevents him from spreading out magic bullet as much as he would like, and also from removing that forced induction. But it didn't really matter when I was dumb and I left my my monitor on one focus anyway. My Cipher moved forward just to be touching in the zone. I was putting stuff in the zone each turn, but with those electro shots that do automatically hit between the target and the targeted, it's difficult to keep your stuff alive. So from there, it just continued to swing. So on Todd's turn, he did feat. He managed to remove my monitor from the board, did a ton more damage. He was able to get his mechanics in to repair up his modulators as much as possible. So that was pretty huge. I wasn't able to take out enough of the mechanics. They were a couple of the turns they were base to base with the jacks, which meant I actually missed on some of my ground pounder attacks, which was pretty huge. And he was effectively able to keep his jacks at full strength the whole time. We gradually closed to melee, and we were scoring, I think I scored a couple points in this game, but Todd eventually cleared off enough of my stuff that he was able to get up on the scoring, because this was, of course, Scenario 6, which is Recon, and Recon 2, and there are multiple scenario elements here. So we eventually got into melee and started pounding on each other. I actually just about killed my own assimilator. I charged in. I was pounding on a modulator, and the POW, I believe it ends up being POW 12s with the Electro Servitor nearby. I just about killed my own Jack, actually, from hitting his Jack and with the Plasma Nimbus. So that was pretty funny. I decided to stop attacking before I killed myself on my turn. But effectively, what it boiled down to is he had way too much on me for attrition, and he ended up scoring points. I didn't have enough models left to contest in a meaningful way, and also get up on attrition. And his Orion was always super far away from my Orion, so there's no chance of assassination there. Obviously, my Electro Gun wasn't a whole lot of use against all of his Electro Jacks either. I also made one mistake. I went to clear a zone at one point, and I shot the Orion's gun at one of the Jacks. I managed to clear out some other stuff in the zone, shot it as Jack, and then realized that the shot pushes other models away. I think at the time I was thinking that it was going to push the model that I directly hit away, so that prevented me from scoring on that turn, and I believe that's what ended up giving Todd the chance to get the final points on his turn. So this was my first game playing Orion. I really like him. Definitely like being able to have multiple shooty Jacks at full efficiency with just 3 focus handed out at the end of the line. Then it can pass all down through the line. Just have to continue to work on my positioning. A lot of it was dice in this game, but Todd's definitely a better player than I am as well. So he had a lot more experience with his list than I did. He's been having great success with this list. We talked quite a bit about it afterwards because I was quite intrigued about it. I'd heard about this list, but initially I didn't think a whole lot of it because it seems pillow-fisted in terms of the damage coming from the shots and such, and I didn't think it was going to handle armor well and that sort of thing. But man, it did some good work in this game, and he's had a lot of success in the games that he's played previously with it. So definitely an interesting list. I will probably proxy at some point to just give it a try. But good game. Todd's a great guy, learned lots of things, and enjoyed the game there. So thanks for listening to this one, guys, and I will have round 3 up shortly. Talk to you soon.